Hi and welcome back to Ukraine, the dark and light. Let's start with some videos from the front line. Near Myrnohrad, the Russians again attempted a mechanized assault, taking advantage of the increasing fog. They were stopped by soldiers of the 3rd B.O.P Svoboda and RPTRK of the 93rd O.M.R, together with adjacent units. They hit a BMP-3, a tank, and another ABM. Cursed Empire. The 100th Motorized Rifle Brigade destroys enemy equipment in the Kostyantynivka direction. Drones hit an MTLB, 5 cars, 2 motorcyclists, an invader, a truck, a buggy, an ATV, and 5 antennas. A warhead from a Shahed drone has been installed on a Ukrainian ground drone. This will now be sent back to the Russians. This is absolutely brilliant by the Ukrainian ground forces. Let's hope it meets its intended target. Operators of the 23rd Mechanized Brigade shot down 12 Zalas, 10 Supercams, 7 Lancets, 4 Orlans, and a Molnia. All these shoot-downs saved the lives of our people. Amazing work from the 23rd Mechanized Brigade. Some more amazing footage from the front line. A Ukrainian soldier spots and shoots down a Russian drone that was targeting his buggy. Operators of unmanned systems delivered over 1,000 parcels to allies across the front line. The 412th Separate Brigade Nemesis SBS completed its first 1,000 logistics missions, delivering ammunition, food, water, medicine, and other critically needed supplies by drone. The use of drones allows essential goods to be delivered to places where it is not possible to transport them by car or on foot. Parcel delivery continues. Putin's daughter, Lisa Krivonogeek, was approached by journalists in Paris, who invited her to come to Kyiv as an air defense specialist. Her response came as no surprise to anyone. She said she could not help in any way. Now, an update from NATO. NATO's top military commander, U.S. Air Force General Alexis Grinkowicz, said the alliance must be ready to respond to growing hybrid threats aimed at destabilizing member states, as reported by Reuters. These tactics, including cyber attacks, disinformation, infrastructure sabotage, drones, and irregular forces, are increasing across Europe, he warned, during a briefing at NATO's military headquarters in Belgium. Grinkowicz said some recent incidents were reckless, others deliberate, and that Russia was behind several of them. The Turkish Foreign Ministry summoned Ukrainian diplomats over attacks on Russian tankers. As Haber writes, it was proven not only to Ukrainian but also to Russian diplomats that Ankara does not welcome such clashes in the Black Sea. Zelensky. Today, Ukrainian representatives will continue their talks in the U.S. with President Trump's team. Our task now is to obtain full information about what was said in Russia, what other pretexts Putin found to drag out the war and to put pressure on Ukraine, on us, on our independence. Ukraine is ready for any development of events. Of course, we will work as constructively as possible with all our partners, so that peace can still be achieved, and that it is a worthy peace. Only a worthy peace means real security, and we are fully aware that this requires and will continue to require the support of partners. Some interesting developments in Grozny, Chechnya. Locals report explosions. It's clear to see that something has hit these apartment blocks in the city. The General Staff confirms Ukrainian strikes on key Russian logistics. The Syzran oil refinery and the Temryuk port in Krasnodar Krai were hit overnight. Both sites are used to support Russia's military. They added that the Saratov refinery is also out of primary processing. And here's a picture of the Syzran oil refinery as of this morning. Burning well in places, it seems. Now to the UK. Ministers are prepared to hand over $8 billion of Russian assets frozen in Britain to support Ukraine, as they warn that President Putin is an active threat to the UK's citizens, security, and prosperity. The Times. Ukrainian F-16 fighter jets have received sighting containers that allow the integration of guided or laser-guided weapons, including APKWS-2 missiles. They make it possible to shoot down drones in the most cost-effective way. Syrskyi on a just peace for Ukraine. Of course, it is unacceptable for us to simply give up territory. What does it even mean, to give up our land? This is what we are fighting for. That is why we are not giving up our territory. He added that a just peace for Ukraine means peace without preconditions, without giving up territory, and a halt along the current contact line. G7 countries and the EU are in talks to replace a price cap on Russian oil exports with a full maritime services ban in a bid to reduce the oil revenue that helps finance Russia's war in Ukraine, as reported in Reuters. Macron says he didn't warn Zelensky about a possible betrayal by the US. He said, "I deny everything. We need the US for peace, and the US needs us to make this peace strong and reliable. Russia has deployed over 710,000 troops along the front line, Syrskyi. The enemy side is losing about 1,000 to 1,100 soldiers every day, and most of them are dying. Our strategy is to exhaust the Russian army as much as possible, prevent its advance, hold our territory, while simultaneously striking the enemy in the near rear, in operational depth and deep into Russia itself, in order to undermine its defense capabilities and industrial potential. And lastly, from today's Ukraine war news update. I hope the end of the war in Ukraine is near. Trump. What an absolute idiot. Because he's actually doing nothing about it. Thanks for listening to Ukraine, the Dark and Light. Please like, subscribe, and share.